everyone, and welcome to my channel again. I do hope that you've enjoyed the video so far, and in this week's video what I want to be talking about is this thing, my camera bag. This particular bag is a Low Pro AW Tracker Mini, and I've had this probably for about 8 or 9 years now. I'm not a big fan of buying brand new photography kit unless I need to, really, and I think I've got this particular one off eBay just for a change. And yeah, it serves me well. I think one thing to say about your camera kit is that you need to keep everything in the same pouches, really, so it's just easy to navigate, whether that's on a nighttime, if you're doing a nighttime shoot, or basically just doing a shoot where you need to find things in order. And that's what I kind of do. I kind of keep everything in the same location. I don't change it around in the bag. I've also, during the last week or so, I've been up to the Lake District. So what I'll do, I'll put 5 of the pictures that I took on the screen for you now, so you can take a look at those. And then from those, I'll put 5 others that I took at the same time, but I think are pretty good in comparison to the first 5. So let's have a look at those now. So there you have it then, just a couple of pictures just to get us started. Okay, and now I suppose what I want to mention also is the fact that although the Low Pro bag is quite good for keeping my kit dry, I also use this waterproof cover as well, just to make sure my kit doesn't get soaking. I've only had wet kit, really, like completely wet, one time in Scotland. Funny old thing. But yeah, so I do use this from time to time if the rain is particularly hammering it down. Okay, let's look at the first item then, the camera body. I use a Nikon D800. I've had this for around about, it must be 10 years now. It's a fantastic camera. And why change? Why do something? Why buy something different if what you got is doing the job? I don't see any point in that. I bought this camera secondhand. Like I say, around about 10 years ago, and it's never failed me. It's a superb camera. The pictures are stunning from it. But yeah, the build quality, the weatherproofing and everything else is just second to none, in my opinion. The only downside is it's very heavy, being a DSLR. It is heavy, but yeah, I'm happy with it, and I don't think I'm going to be changing my camera anytime soon. The next important thing obviously is lenses. I do have a Sigma wide angle lens that I use from time to time. It does fade to the edges of the frame, but that's to be expected. The Nikon wide angle, I just couldn't afford it. It's very expensive for that camera. So it's a bit of a trade-off using the Sigma, but it's still good enough if you crop in the sides of the picture and the top and bottom of the picture, and you still get some pretty good results from that lens, the Sigma lens. The next lens in my camera bag is the Nikon 70-300. I do use this quite a lot as well. I used it quite a lot in the Italian Alps, and it is a pretty good lens for what it is. It's not the top mark of lens, but it still gives pretty good results. It also has vibration reduction, and I wouldn't advise you use that when it's on the tripod though, because you'll end up with blurry images. It's usually just for when you're hand holding it, and switch it off when it's on the tripod, as I found out to my horror a couple of weeks ago. Moving on to the workhorse of my camera kit then, the lens that I use the most is the 24-70. Never lets me down. It's a superb lens, and the quality and the sharpness of this lens is fantastic. I use it, as I say, just about I would say in 90% of my photography. I also use screw-in filters for the front of the lens, and I have a 10-stop, a Nikon polarizer, and a 5-stop filter as well. Along with the screw-in filters, I have the Lee filter system. I do use ND grads, not that often now. Most of my grads are adding Lightroom, but I do occasionally use this Firecrest slide-in filter along with a Lee filter system. Thinking about setting up the camera then, what I often do is I'll set a timer on the camera, or indeed I will have a tethered cable release or a remote release that I use quite often as well for the shots where you see me in selfie mode, if you like, extreme selfies. These are a fantastic bit of kit. I think I got the remote thing off Wish or something for a few quid, but it does the job up to around about 60 meters in line of sight, and I can trigger that remotely should I need to. And as I said, I've used it quite a lot. Next up then, if I am in the middle of nowhere and my wife doesn't want to come down towards a waterfall or something like that, I will use two-way radios, and these Motorola's are a fantastic bit of kit as well. Again, I didn't buy them brand new, I bought them second hand, and yeah, they really do the job and it's useful. I use them in the Dolomites again in Italy, and if my wife wants to stay in the car or whatever like that, I can communicate via the radios for free. Of course, I need a tripod to put my camera on, and I have got two tripods. This one in the picture, which is a carbon fiber tripod. It's quite a good piece of kit. It was quite cheap, and yeah, because it's carbon fiber, it's quite light as well. But my main workhorse for my tripod is this Manfrotto, and I've got the Benro head as well, which it's a ball head, which is fantastic. And yeah, you can't fault this setup. It's really good. The only issue, I suppose, is it's quite a large tripod, and it's awkward to fit on the backpack. So more often than not, you'll see me in my vlogs carrying it in my hand. You get used to it when you do it for a while. But yeah, you need a sturdy tripod. It goes without saying. If you're doing long exposures and things like that, particularly for waterfalls, you're going to need a sturdy tripod, and this particular one is the bee's knees as far as I'm concerned. Depending on the location I'm going to with my camera kit, I do also take a few other things. For example, this hydration pack is very useful. I've used this a number of times, and particularly if you're climbing up mountains and things like that, it comes in really handy. The mouthpiece is there straight away, so you just need to grab it. You don't need to take your bag off, anything like that. And I would really recommend having one of those, particularly if you're out all day. Particularly whatever it is. Yeah, if you're out all day. In addition to that, I'd take things like a spare battery pack for power. If I want to charge the drone, I can do it with this. The drone I have is the DJI Mini 3. It's a fantastic drone. Again, I didn't buy this brand new. I bought it refurbished from the DJI website, and there's nothing wrong with it. Trust me, it's fantastic, and it saved me a couple of £100 getting it from, well, I say a couple of hundred, probably around £150 getting it off the refurbished side of the site. So that's that. My vlogging kit, I'm using a DJI Pocket 3. I've just got it a couple of weeks ago, and so far I'm really impressed. I'm recording on it now. You get the mic with it. I got the Creator Combo kit, so there's a little tripod with it, and more importantly the DJI mic too. And I'm really impressed with it so far. It's a fantastic bit of kit. Small, compact, and that's what you need. When you're carrying everything that I'm carrying, then you need, you know, some things to be lighter than what they were. I was using GoPro, but I found them just to be just a little bit glitchy, overheating, just a bit of a pain sometimes, and the screens were quite difficult sometimes the screen would lock and you couldn't press anything. So yeah, so far, as I say, the Pocket 3 is a superb bit of kit and I'm really impressed with it. So I'm going to stick with it. As you can see, a lot of the things I use, they're not state of the art in terms of the camera bag, and my camera's quite old. I'm not really bothered about buying the latest kit every year, because if it works, you know, why buy something new if it works perfectly? So most of my stuff is either quite old and I've had it a while, and or I bought it second hand. If you're out there and you want me to trial something and talk about something, I'll be happy to do that. But in terms of changing things, it's rare that I change it unless I really need to. And as I say, most recently is the Pocket 3 and the DJI Mini 3 Pro that I bought most recently. What else do I carry? I do wear sealskin socks when I'm doing waterfalls, just as a second layer protection, and if I'm walking in boggy ground, particularly up in Scotland. And another thing to really consider in Scotland is a mozzie face net. Here's one here that I buy, and I bought, and also some insect mozzie spray. You cannot go go wrong with that, because in mid-season in Scotland you get ate to death by them. They get everywhere, honestly, and you really need to keep your face covered, and yeah, your hands as well, wear gloves. So that's that. I don't think really that there's many other things I need to tell you about. Just obviously I've got spare leads, chargers, spare batteries and things like that, so I'm prepared and ready. You've got to have spares really, batteries and things, because there's nothing worse being out in the field and your camera goes down or something like that. So it's good to have spares. It goes without saying that if you're going to be going up mountains and things like that in the winter time, then you're going to need the right kit. I use Gore-Tex waterproofs, and you cannot go wrong with them. They're fantastic, and you definitely need them compact as possible. Everything I need fits in my backpack, and in addition to all that, obviously I have a base layer and then layers on top of that, just to keep myself warm in the winter. And you kind of stress enough that obviously you need the right equipment when you're out on the ground for long periods of time. And as I say, everything fits perfect in my bag, and I'm more than happy with the bag, and I'll probably keep that bag until I break it. The only other thing I use really quite a lot is my iPhone 15 Pro. It's a great piece of kit, and I use it a lot for B-roll, or my wife might use it to film me while I'm setting up shots. And honestly, it's a superb bit of kit. The 4K footage is great from it. It is a little bit over sharpened, but I just think it's fantastic. Really useful in your pocket, and you can film along while you're using the DJI or whatever other vlogging camera you are using. It's just really handy to have. So that's about it really. What I'll be doing in my next vlog, I'm not too sure, but do tune in around about a week and a half's time, and I'll have another vlog up for you. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, as always, it would be really useful if you could do that, and like the video. It helps with the algorithm apparently. And yeah, until the next one, I'll put up my favourite 5 shots from the last couple of weeks. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.